Hey guys, how are you doing and welcome to a new video. If you've been watching my videos for a little while, you do know that I love London, especially if you're following my Instagram, which is also very important. You do know that I love London. I always assume that most of you love London as well, which is partially why you watch my videos and follow my Instagram. So yesterday on my Instagram, I asked, why do you love London? Share your love London story, and today I'm sharing them on YouTube in a video about London. So let's start with a funny comment. This one is by Annabelle Charlotte, and she says, best story. A few years ago, I was in London for the first time with 3 of my friends, and we were looking for the Hard Rock Cafe. We asked a random passenger if they could help us. They did help us. They were really friendly. However, we still did not find the Hard Rock Cafe. So I actually don't know if the person you asked maybe was not a Londoner, or maybe they didn't know and they just wanted to pretend that they can help you, which obviously is also very British. So people don't like to admit that they can't do something. So maybe the person you asked didn't actually know the way but wanted to help you anyway. Who knows? Anyway, good example of Londoners being ready to help all the time. Why does everybody always want to go to the Hard Rock Cafe? That I don't know. Then we've got Victoria Penguin saying, the first time I heard about London was in school. When I learned about London, I watched some documentaries. I really fell in love with the city. And then 2 years later, I visited and I arrived in Paddington and I knew that was where I wanted to live. And that's really beautiful. I actually arrived in Stansted Airport and I never looked back, and I also knew this is where I wanted to live. So since then, she tries to visit London as often as she can, and she still can't get enough, which I agree with, and I live here, which is crazy. So comment below, can you get enough of London? Have you been to London? And where was the first tube or train station you ever arrived at? After Stansted in the UK, my first tube or train station ever was Baker Street. So here's also one that I really liked. This is from antretton.arts, and it's a very long story about coming to the UK as a graphic designer, and basically he also landed in Stansted Airport just like me, and when he came to London he met his idols, who are the graphic designers of the Harry Potter movies, who encouraged him to become a graphic designer for a movie, which is what he is doing right now. And he's saying best wishes from Germany, Andre. So hi Andre, if you're watching, thank you so much for sharing your story. London can do that. London can inspire people. You can meet people here that are doing what you want to do, and they share, you know, their passions and their ideas with you. And I've met many people like that, and they, you know, kind of help you along the way of achieving whatever you want to achieve. Then I think I want to share a story from my life because it happened today. It is now about 6 p.m. in the evening. I was on the overground home from work, and on the overground tube driver had to make an announcement because the overground was really slow and there was a train in front of us and he couldn't really move and people were getting really annoyed, and he basically said, hello everybody traveling on this beautiful overground tonight here in London. I have really good and really bad news for you. The really bad news is we are slow and we will be late. The really good news, however, is the train in front of us is picking up all the passengers, so you guys have more leg room than you ever dreamt of tonight. And he said it with such a jokey, fun, positive way that everyone in the overground was laughing or smiling, and it was a very typical situation of positivity in London, which I loved. Then we also have a comment by Vrobel, and she tells a story about how she was an au pair, but the most important sentence in her comment is, this place has soul, history, and is unique. London taught me to discover new place, new people. London taught me courage and broke the barriers. And I'm almost crying when I'm reading this because it's so beautiful and it's everything I think about London. So thank you very much for sharing this. Here's another one which I think is very typical for London. It's happened to me many times. So this is one of a beautiful stranger story. So B243 says that she came to London as an au pair and she was alone in her neighborhood. She didn't really know anyone. She kind of walked past a small cafe in the rain and it wasn't a very good day. And 2 minutes later, after she walked past the cafe, someone called up to her and handed her a free cup of tea because basically he thought she looked cold, and he said nobody should have to freeze on a beautiful day like this. And she said she felt really welcomed and happy for the entire day. And these things do actually happen in London. Londoners pick up when you're having a bad day, and they do come and they say things like, you know, don't have a bad day, why don't you have a free coffee, you know, can I help you with anything? So there's been moments where I've been maybe sad on the tube because of, you know, life, and people always ask, is there anything I can do for you? Nobody should be sad. So very typical situation as well. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And this one was one of my favorites as well. So Janina HRZ G says, I always dreamt about going to London, and then she went for the first time 5 years ago, and then she went again and again, and she's fallen in love with London, and she's living here now. She's obsessed with the accent and the kindness of people. However, her favorite part has to be meeting her very, very British boyfriend, which is amazing. So I completely understand there is a, you know, a thing about the British accent, and I'm so happy for you and your boyfriend if you're watching. Hello. Then we've got Emma Panini, and Emma Panini tells a story about how much she loves London. And she says when she was here, she actually felt something so special that she can't even explain it. And I do have to say, I understand what you're saying, because I think I said this many times before, from the very first moment I stepped out of the plane, I never looked back, and I knew I had arrived home, which was wonderful. So I'm sure this is the same feeling that all of us are feeling, which is crazy. Then we've got Amy Giglioart, and she says she loves the UK because she hasn't been in London for that long, and she especially loved the Horse Guards. Another of my personal favorite stories, apart from what I mentioned, you know, a lot of what you guys have experienced, I've also experienced, is once I lost my phone. I was out at Eastern Electrics at a festival in the south of London, and I was so happy, but obviously also had a little bit of alcohol. So I left my phone in the grass because my friend Anya and I were sitting down just enjoying the music, and I left my phone in the grass, and I realized about 10 minutes later, but obviously thought it was gone. I was never going to see it again. And the next day I got a message on Facebook from a random Londoner who found my phone in the grass and who messaged me saying, I found your phone, I think this is yours, because I basically had an email popping up that said, you know, to Sandy. So he found me on Facebook, which was wonderful, and it made me so happy, and it really made me believe in people. And if you are in London and you feel unsure, maybe you feel sad, lonely, or unsure about the people, or you're having a horrible day and you feel everyone around you in the tube is grumpy and rushing and doesn't, you know, look out for other people, remember this video, remember all these beautiful situations that people have been in, and remember you can ask anyone and they will be friendly to you. Londoners are busy, yes, but they're not unfriendly. They are one of the most friendliest people, in fact, I have ever met. And if you still feel lonely, send me a message on Instagram, we can have a chat. And I think that's it for this week. Thanks for watching, thanks for sharing. As mentioned many times, please don't forget to follow my Instagram, and obviously subscribe to this channel if you haven't. I will see you next week.